Okay, so I wasn't planning on making this video. I wanted to make another poverty tips video. I actually wanted to collect all the poverty tips I have in my mind into an essay that I would share in some public forums like on Reddit and some other places. But I want to talk for a moment about what it means to me to be an American, specifically like a US citizen. So part of the reason I stay in this country, even though I think some other places could plausibly be nicer, is that I believe that if I live here, I have this fundamental kind of implicit or unspoken right to be weird intellectually, spiritually, creatively. I can basically, if I want to, in principle, end up like Hideo Kojima, you know? You may have a certain kind of cultural training, religious background, upbringing, but I basically have the power to take a pen and paper and map out a really weird route of self-authored learning here. And then I can just bloom into whatever it is I want to be. I can author my personality. I can author the contents, preoccupations, and functions of my intellect. So I have had some harsh encounters with people who question me about things like religion or question me about things like, you know, political matters and stuff. But generally, what I like here is that even among some of the rather intolerant people, I don't normally fear that I'm going to be attacked by someone just because I upset them over intellectual or religious differences or something. So something I'm concerned about is that by constantly consuming media that gives you intense emotional reactions, and a large number of them in a short time span, like when you're using Twitter feeds or TikTok feeds or something, you're training your mind to judge instead of to perceive very deeply. And as a result, you undermine your own intellectual independence and the sort of agency and autonomy you have in the material world, and more importantly, in the world of practically relevant abstractions, which kind of organize your life and your decisions. So, what do I want to say here? Not sure where I'm going with this. Make sure you keep owning your right to stay weird, to be cringe, to not explain yourself to anyone, and to pursue whatever route of learning you could conceive of for yourself, you know? On my night table, I have a Swan's Way, which is a volume from In Search of Lost Time by Marcel Proust. And then I also have, another book here that's just within my line of sight. And it's Arguably, which is a collection of essays by Christopher Hitchens. If I choose to read these back to back, I should feel no compulsion to kind of explain this to anyone. And yet I notice that when I consume short-form media, I have this strange, almost like a subconscious or barely conscious preoccupation with being able to explain my decisions and life paths to others in really short conversations wherein my fate might be decided by like a so-called normie or something, or a panel of them. So that's really stupid. The solution to this is to stay weird, stay cringe, stay odd, keep marching to the beat of your own drum. Because the life you get from that is much more fulfilling than what you get from a combination of money and image management or reputation management. So, I don't have a fully fleshed out conception of a perfectly noble and happy life right now, but I will say that one key sign that you're living well is that you think about your reputation for less than 3 minutes a day at maximum, even if you happen to have a public following. Thank you for watching and have a good day.